Good morning, viewers. You are on to the People's Voice, the current affairs segment. And today we shall be discussing on the post-mortem of the Osun election as a litmus test for the 2027 election. I am Ego Chukwemeka by name, and here with me on the studio to discuss this today is our usual public analyst, a journalist, Mr. Latif
Okay.
Ahmed.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, just like I just said, we are looking at the postmortem of Oshun election as a litmus test for the 2027 election. What can you say about the outcome of the election in Osun State?
Well, ahead of the Oshun election, a lot of Nigerians had anticipated a lot of violence, a lot
Okay.
of fear that there will be breakdown of law and order. While we witnessed a few cases of killings, attacks, the violence was quickly contained by the Nigerian security,
Okay.
and some persons who were, you know, hell bent on causing trouble
Trouble.
were quickly arrested.
Okay.
So that helped to put the minds of a lot of Ocean voters,
Mm.
at rest, and
At
so they were
rest.
able to come out to vote
Oh,
en
wow.
masse. What we have observed, excuse me, what we have observed is that there has been a steady increase in the number of voters in Ocean State.
Okay.
Looking at the number of registered voters who had voted in the past 16 years,
Mm.
there has been a steady increase in the number of registered voters.
Voters. Okay.
However, there has been also a decline in the percentage of people who actually turned out to vote.
Okay.
That is, we used to have about 58% voter turnout
Okay.
in the years of PDP in power.
Okay.
Then we had 54%, 45%, and in the last election it was about 42%, and in this election also it's 42%.
What can you say was the cause of that?
Well, what is happening, my interpretation of it is that people are believing less in the politicians,
Okay.
because politicians seem to be crossing from party A to party B, and so people cannot even tell the gray lines anymore. They just see
Okay.
that, okay, we saw you today here and we are seeing you today,
Okay.
tomorrow here. So a lot of Nigerians or a lot of voters are saying that, well, they are probably just the same.
The same.
Their messaging is almost the
The
same.
same thing.
But in terms of overall number,
Okay.
because now in the previous election, the election in 2022, the number of polling units was about 2,000 plus, but now it has increased to over 3,000 polling
Okay.
units.
Brilliant.
This ensures that more people can vote.
Okay.
So it is a commendable thing that INEC did to expand the number of polling units
Mm.
such that more people can access, voting rights.
Does it actually mean that Nigerians are becoming complacent and losing their confidence in the politicians?
Yes, Nigerians are losing their confidence in politicians because most times it's all talk and no action.
Okay.
But in the case of Oshun, it is slightly different. While a lot of people have lost interest in electioneering generally,
Mm.
in politics generally,
Mm.
the election showed that a lot of Nigerians are still interested in who governs them.
Okay.
Because in spite of the criticism against Governor Adeleke, saying he has done infrastructural development, mostly around Ede and, where he's from,
Okay.
the truth of the matter is that he has done infrastructural development. Where you start from is really immaterial
Okay.
because you have just 4 years,
Mm.
and if you are lucky, you have 8 years. Start from somewhere.
So
The evidence,
he has been able to do well
yeah, I mean,
in
from
terms
the
of infrastructural
infrastructure,
development.
yes, and because Osun State is largely, a civil servant state, he has maintained payment of salaries,
Okay.
something that the two previous governors have not been able to do. They
Mm.
were paying half salaries, quarter salaries,
Wow.
So when he came, one of the things he addressed was payment of, salary
Salaries.
backlogs and all that. So
Okay.
there's more trust in him. And
Okay.
so for the misfortune that hit the APC candidate was the fact that he had served in key positions under the two previous governors who were under APC.
Okay.
He was under Aregbesol's government.
Government,
He
yeah.
was under Oyetola's government, who is the current Minister of Maritime Affairs.
Okay.
So, in essence, it was a referendum, an understanding by the electorate in Osun
Okay.
that we would rather choose something we are now used to,
Two. And
some sort of stability, as against what we had then. But again, for those who can look critically, what we had then was that we had an atmosphere in Nigeria. We had government that was borrowing to pay salaries,
mm,
so a lot of states could not really channel their funding
mm,
properly,
mm,
and so it affected salaries in Osun State.
okay.
But under this current government, there has been over 145% increase in terms of FAC allocation to states.
Wow.
So while we can blame any governor in the past for whatever he had done, the current governors do not have any reason to not pay salaries.
Mm,
Beyond that, they do not also have any reason to not embark on powerful infrastructural projects.
okay.
So it's here and there. So in 2027, if a replica of what happened in Osun State happens, a lot of Nigerians will begin to trust the process more. For example,
Wow.
INEC was not seen to have interfered with the process.
Mm,
INEC ensured that, the fact that technology can help people see things clearly, results get to the beavers and they get uploaded in good time.
mm,
And with that, people are able to say, you know what, this is the number of polling units we have in Osun State. If we have 80% of the results already uploaded, there
do
is no magic that can happen with 20%.
okay.
We can understand that, okay, network issues and all that, fine. But from the 80% of the result that was uploaded, it was easy for you to just punch in, this data into, you know, LLMs and
Mm,
AIs to say, okay, if you have these numbers here and there,
mm,
what is the total result? Who is the
yeah.
winner? What's the,
Yeah.
what number is left and all that.
Okay.
So it was easy that while election is going on
Mm,
and election result was being uploaded in
okay.
real time, even before INEC formally declared the
The
winner,
winner.
people knew who the winners were. So it gives people this sense of security that their votes now count,
Count.
and people who are losing can clearly, those who are sensible among them can say that we have lost this election. There is no cause for violence.
Do we give that to Mr. President having been able to keep his promises of not interfering with the electoral processes?
Yes, we can commend. We should commend him, but that is the ideal thing to do,
Yeah.
to ensure that there's level playing ground, for everybody to participate in electioneering. It's a state that is dear to him because that's his ancestral home.
Okay.
So winning or losing,
Mm,
should not be an issue, but the process.
yeah.
How much do people trust the process? Because
Mm,
a governor can emerge as a governor, but
mm,
if the process is flawed, people will not
mm.
trust or believe in
Exactly.
the governor. So the same thing with the presidency. If an election is held and people feel cheated, people feel dribbled, you could become a president, but
Mm,
nobody really, you know, give you the regard,
yeah.
that you are the president.
Yeah.
It looks like a stolen mandate,
Yeah.
So that's it.
So let's go to the second question of I just like you said, you believe the people are very much satisfied with the outcome of the election, or there are other things that need to be changed.
Absolutely. People are largely, satisfied because we could see the jubilation that, went on after the declaration of the results. We could see that some governors, even from the APC, have,
Mm,
congratulated the Osun State governor,
mm,
even though we know that the matter will end up, being litigated in court.
okay,
Osun has carried that characteristics since inception of the first governor,
okay,
BC Akonde. Every time there's an election, they will end up in court
mm,
to
God,
litigate.
okay,
But it is fine if you would rather go to court as against end up in violence.
yeah,
My concern is the pre-election behavior of the ruling party,
okay,
where governors from several states,
mm,
the Senate president, and many other key members of the ruling party descended on the state
okay,
as if they came in to grab the state
stateful,
forcefully.
okay,
We understand that it is a support for their candidates.
candidate,
But
yes.
this is not how it is done in
Mm.
other parts of the world
Oh,
where democracy is practiced.
okay.
There's need for a level playing ground.
Right.
And so if you overwhelm the system with your presence, with your money, with your, your, the
Whatever.
appurtenances of office,
Okay.
people begin to be a little scared or afraid. So you should allow people to conduct their election. You can mobilize, yes, you can, but allow those governors to do what they need to do in their states, as against having to deploy everybody to. Because if you look at the political landscape, most of the governors of the 36 states
Mm.
are of the ruling party. It means that no other opposition party
Mm.
can gather that much number of
People.
people in one place to influence, perception about, their choice for the people. So that is one thing that is of concern that we should actually look at. And then again, those who were involved in the murder of people,
Mm.
about 17 or 18 people were said to have been killed
Mm.
in different, violence uh, in the state ahead of the election. The people involved, the people that are complicit,
Mm.
should be arrested and prosecuted. There has to be consequences for bad behavior. And so if people get away with such behavior, they will
Mm.
repeat the same
Thing
thing.
again.
So for the president, he has done the needful in terms of deploying security.
Mm.
The political players have done what they need to do, even though some are high-handed.
Mm.
But overall, Nigeria has won from
Mm.
this election.
Okay, let's go ahead. What can you say about the 2027 election, looking at what happened at Osun State comparatively?
Yeah. So based on INEC register, August 19, campaigns can start August 19.
Mm.
And so it means that we are entering into a circle where you are going to have a lot of heated mobilization, political messaging, and all that.
Mm.
That is understandable. Uh, my concern for 2027
Mm.
is in the preparedness of the opposition,
Okay.
because if you have 4 years to plan for an exam,
Mm.
if you are aware that an exam will hold in 4 years'
Yeah,
time,
fine.
you should not have any excuse
Mm.
to say that you are not prepared, you were
Mm.
out of school,
Mm.
whatever excuse
Mm.
is really immaterial.
Mm.
It will be that you had planned
Mm.
on how to top your class or to be at your best in the exams. We know of unforeseen circumstances
Mm.
and all that, but in this case, we have opposition heading to an election,
Mm.
and the opposition is largely divided.
Yeah.
And in the simple law of political arithmetic,
Mm.
it is difficult for you to defeat an incumbent
Mm.
when you have a divided opposition,
Yeah.
because your messaging will not go in the same direction.
Mm.
It will go in different direction. It will confuse the voters. It
Mm.
will make your stronghold split.
Mm.
And when that happens, there's a chance that the ruling party, which is deeply rooted in terms of its political infrastructure and all that, it could deploy the power of the state and all of this paraphernalia of office to ensure that it is able to secure as much votes to return it into power. So what I will be hoping for, looking at the 42% voter turnout in Osun State, I'm hoping that in the 2027 election, a lot of Nigerians will believe that their votes will count. They will
Mm.
come out to vote. Because one, if in the Osun election we saw that, yes, there were attempts at voter buying and people actually spent money to see that, people voted for their candidates. And it happened to, within, amongst all the political parties. Some did it more than the others. But if you were to spend 10,000 naira, for example, on each voter,
Mm.
and you're about to pay about 1 million voters, 10,000 times 1 million voters is about 10 billion.
Yeah.
It is not easy to come by.
Mm.
Now, it is unlikely that those who are trying to buy votes will do this and do that for 92 million registered voters.
Mm.
It's very unlikely.
Yeah.
And so even when you give them money, someone who wants to vote his conscience will say, okay, give me the
Yeah.
money, but I will vote what I want,
Want
and you cannot do
exactly.
anything about it.
Exactly.
The second part of it is eternal vigilance,
Mm.
where Oshun electorate came out en masse to vote early.
Mm.
After voting, they stood, counted, and then they accompanied some of the electoral officers to the collation point,
Mm.
to the collation center. That is the spirit. That is what happened in Kano, where people woke up to vote as early as 5 a.m. Did not return to their, they went to pray at 5 a.m., did not return to their homes. They went to the voting centers. After voting, they waited, they counted, they waited up till night, midnight. There was counting that went on into about 4 a.m. in the morning. Because there is absolutely nothing you are going to do on a day like that.
Yeah.
You are not going to the market, you are not trading, you are not buying, you are not selling, you are voting. So they dedicated that day to that voting. That today, come what may, we are going to be here to ensure that we vote. So that is what the Osun people did. Somebody was even, was handling the, voters cards, that was cast, the ballot box, and they saw him making calls. And then they were warning him. I saw the video. They were warning him. You are making calls and you are holding a critical material like the ballot box. You should not make any call. They followed him on motorbikes to the point where the total collation will be done.
Wow.
Because you are not doing anything at home. What is difficult in standing by your vote? Because nobody can tell you anything anymore. When the votes that you had cast got to the point where it is being counted, and it is counted right in front of you. No more magic. Right? Once the results are out, you can easily return home satisfied with the result. Whether you lose or you win, but you will have known that this process, there is nothing hidden, no dark side to it. So we are grateful for INEC, we are grateful for technology, we are grateful for the internet that was stable, because if the internet was not stable, anything could have happened. We're also grateful to the president because he ensured that things went on the way they should. And so while I saw that a lot of people in the opposition were excited that, oh, the ruling party had lost the election, I was a bit cautious because I said, this party that won, Accord, does not have a national spread.
Yeah.
Accord has endorsed Mr. President for 2027.
Okay.
Accord is not aligned with NDC and ADC.
Okay.
So what exactly is the jubilation about? Because now, what is the performance of ADC and NDC in that election? It did poorly. So again, I keep saying that it is the aggregation of of opposition party that can unseat the ruling party. But where you have lack of purpose, lack of direction, or collective bargaining power to ensure that voters vote in a certain direction, then the outcome is almost predictable in favor of the ruling party.
So in the rest sense, invariably, you do not see the same thing replicated in the next election.
Yeah, it only depends on how prepared, how cohesive the party. I mean, you see, in politics, a day is enough time. A presidential candidate amongst the two can wake up and say, you know what, for the sake of the country, I am stepping down for you. But ego will not allow most of them to stick to this. Go for a clean fight that is divided between the ruling party and the opposition, where people can say, you know what, we have a choice between this and this. As against, we have a choice between this, and that. And in fact, there are people who, I remember one of the elections in Osun where Oyetola won finally. Adeleke was leading in the first leg of the election, but he was not leading with enough number to announce him as the winner. Therefore, there was a rerun election because the third force at the time, was it SDP, had garnered over 100,000 votes. So he put the numbers that the APC and the PDP at the time, he put it, in a dicey situation, so that there had to be a rerun. And so before the rerun election, the third person became the beautiful bride. Both parties were trying to see how he can support them, but at the end of the day, he supported the APC, and then APC won the rerun election. But by what vote? APC won by less than 600 votes. The margin between the APC and Adeleke at that time of the PDP was less than 600 votes. But by the time Adeleke contested for the second time, he defeated the incumbent governor by about 28,000 votes.
28,000 votes.
And now,
wider margin.
Yeah, a wider margin. And now he has replicated that winning streak by over 60,000 votes.
Mm.
Still, it shows that there's improvement, there is progress, something is happening significantly that is showing that Nigerians now trust the process more.
More.
And so once you can trust the process, the outcome is almost predictable. So when we have more voters turning out to vote, then it will be a better reflection of the wishes of the masses. You do not emerge as president with just less than 10% of the voters and feel that you have the general appeal of the masses. That is what happened in 2023. The president won, with less than 9 million votes, and we had 92 million registered voters. That amounts to less than 10%.
Less than 10%.
Exactly. So the question is, what is happening to the 70% of Nigerians who did not vote? They will claim that they were enfranchised, or they went there and they could not vote. If you go there and you could not vote, you can insist that until you vote, the results of this polling unit cannot be announced.
Exactly.
29 people cannot be more important than 71 people.
Exactly.
Because the turnout or the turnout of that election was between 27 to 29%. And so over 70 million Nigerians did not vote. And so it becomes problematic that if the majority of Nigerians did not vote, what happened? Because some will say, oh, we are afraid of area boys, we are afraid of the police, we are afraid of the security agencies. The security agencies know, they understand numbers, they understand, crisis management. When you have guns that are loaded with maybe bullets not more than 20, and you have a crowd that is 20,000, there is absolutely nothing you can do. You cannot begin to shoot at people, knowing fully well that when you have exhausted your bullets, they may descend on you.
Well, that's a very beautiful one. Then, what can you say to Nigerians? Having said this, is as though Nigerians are waking up to reality by this vote, by this election, I beg your pardon. So, what can you say to Nigerians?
It is totally up to us as voters, as citizens of Nigeria, to believe in our country, because we do not have any other better place. Anywhere else we go to, we'll be second class citizens.
Exactly.
Things may be better elsewhere, but it takes our own responsibility to stick to our motherland and improve on it. Be that as it may, we must go out, and ensure that our votes matter. We vote, we protect our votes, even for people who do not have PVCs.
Okay.
The least they can do is to monitor the process, report. In fact, now there's an app that is available that you can use to monitor and report to INEC directly whatever is happening at your polling unit. You mention the polling unit, the details of the polling unit, unit this, what these, basically give that information to INEC.
Wouldn't that work on the opposite? People trying to use that to sabotage the election?
No, because what INEC usually will do is to confirm if there is anything happening there from the polling, officer there.
Okay.
If the polling officer attests to the fact that there's violence, then INEC will basically suspend the result of the election in that place. So it makes it easier, because people who are looking to rig, once they realize that the result of the election where they're trying to rig has been cancelled, they can't do anything with the numbers.
Exactly.
Everything they do will just amount to nullity. And it means that there'll be a rerun of the elections there. Or, like we had in Osun, immediately when a certain number of results was uploaded, the back end stopped for a while uploading results. So what I looked at was that the percentage that has been uploaded was more.
Okay.
The number was more. So there's hardly anything anybody can do, because even from the number that was uploaded, the leading candidate already had about 50,000 votes ahead.
Okay.
So I looked at the other polling units and I said, how much votes can come from this polling unit, even if they have 50% voter turnout, more than the state average? I realized that even if they have 50% voter turnout in about 420 something polling units, it cannot dent the over 50,000 votes. So when information is power, when you have a certain amount of information, you cannot begin to go haywire like a mad person, angry that, oh, what's happening? Is INEC trying to do this or do that? You just know that there is nothing that can go out of this number.
Yeah.
So it gives you the assurance that the process and the outcome are aligned, as against you do not know what is happening on the IREV. You do not have the numbers. You are put in the dark.
Okay.
So going forward, Nigerians should trust the process, but ensure that there is monitoring of the process. There is nothing much that anybody who wants to even rig election can do when technology is already dictating what is happening in real time. Imagine if I'm in Lagos and I have the result of, Abia State, Abuja, I have Ondo State, Borno State. I don't expect to hear any result that will be different from that
No.
because I can check in real time
Mm,
online.
no. Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
It's a
for having me.
beautiful day, and Nigerians, we've had it. Let's prepare for 2027 and let's get down there and get our PVC. And as we do that and get ready for the one that we are actually going to choose ourselves. Thank you for being with us. Please comment and share. God bless you.